Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. For this video, I'm doing a paint over of one of the artworks I did back in 2019. So I've made a lot of improvements as an artist since then, since it's been almost exactly 4 years ago now. So I figured I would re-update this picture and make it game ready. If you want to see more about this character, you can go to our website, which I'll put the link below, and you'll be able to read more on his unique philosophy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Okay, so starting off, I am cleaning up some of the old layers. I had a bunch of extra layers that were just disorganized and too many of them. So I merged a bunch, duplicated, and brightened the background. And now I'm adjusting the curves layer of the character so that it can look like it's sitting in the scene better. So some more blues, some more cyans. Now I'm changing the shape of the bark using larger strokes to start. Just, it's kind of an aesthetic thing, whatever you think looks better. This is something I'm constantly working on to see what kind of shapes look better. Now I'm rendering the details of the bark, starting in one corner and working my way across the tree. I have a habit of bouncing around the piece as I render, and I find that if I do it that way, then it takes me longer and there's not a clear endpoint. So I'm trying to do this more often, where I start and complete the rendering for one area after I've done all the big shapes, of course. And then when I'm happy with that, work my way through the character. I mostly do that in this piece. I still bounce around at the end. But you know, I'm getting better. It's fine to bounce around, I just like to be more organized. So I'm painting in the stripes. There's lots of stripes in these trees, and then blending it with my blender brush, adding in some highlights, more cool tone highlights. If you see, some of the stripe patterns are a little bit too evenly spaced, so I go back later to try and create some more variety in the spacing of the stripes. That's one of those things we have a habit of doing as people, is just making everything a little bit too even. And when you're trying to create organic shapes, that's one of the challenges, is to create a little more randomness, which is what you can see in the reference photo. There's some stripes that are thicker and some that are thinner. So I end up going in with the liquefy tool to kind of correct that and add some more interesting shapes in the stripes. So I'm doing a little bit of bouncing around, but overall, not doing too bad. Went from top to bottom in the rendering. Some of the video footage looks like it's skipping. My iPad was running out of space at this point, so some of the recording is just struggling to keep up. Now I'm brightening the background more. It was still too dark. And I'm drawing in the details for the mountains using the select tool, and then a soft brush to paint in that glowy mist. That's an easy way to add some depth to the background. And just adding in some more color, mostly just by adjusting the curves layer. A little bit of overlay with the soft brush and a teal color. Now I'm going in and deepening the shadows in the little crevices of the tree. I've sped this part up a little bit more because it's just a lot of rendering. And as you can see, I am bouncing around pretty much from here until the rest of the piece. doing a lot of painting and blending with the blender brush, and then defining the edges again with that square brush, adding in some magic just with regular purple color, and then I go back in with a color dodge layer and a soft brush and a slightly more pink tone just to make it glow, adding in some rim light with a bright cyan color. Rim light's always a fun tool to use when you have a darker setting. So I have the magic kind of connecting through the ground. And going over the tree again with an overlay layer. There's that color dodge for the magic. The overlay layer was with a darker, dark blue color in the soft brush. It's another way to kind of mesh it in its environment and add some shadows. And we still wanted it to be brighter, so I'm playing around with the curves layer again. And I added some wispy magic coming from the tree. I paint the magic on an add layer using that same square brush and then blending with the square brush, which is also how I like to paint hair, actually. And now we're just doing final detail rendering and a little bit more adjusting on the curves, I believe, and I add a little bit of color dodge to the rim light as well. And you're gonna see the before and the after. These are always fun for me to do, the paint overs. Thank you for watching.